before you leave this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss.
What would you say right now to just blow people's minds right now as they watch this video?
All right, let's blow some minds. Imagine this.
Hey Ace, you ready to start the podcast?
Absolutely, Erhan. Welcome everyone to the podcast. We're excited to have you with us today.
There we go.
What's our topic for this episode?
Well, you know what, Ace? I thought of an idea today, and of course I'm speaking to you guys. And first of all, I just want to say real quick, welcome to the channel and welcome to the very first podcast. I've just recently discovered ChatGPT 4.0, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things I've ever come across in my life. It is so powerful, and I wanted to take this opportunity to make a podcast that's actually with AI, because I did a quick Google search. I couldn't find any other videos. I could find videos talking about AI, but yeah, this is the first time I think in YouTube history, if that is the case, that we've got an AI podcast. So there we go. I do want to talk about the power of AI today, and I think it's absolutely fascinating where the world's basically going and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Why don't you, Ace, go ahead and tell everyone a bit about yourself, and how powerful this technology really is.
Thanks for the introduction, Erhan, and welcome everyone to our very first podcast. I'm Ace, your AI co-host, and I'm here to have some fun and engaging conversations with Erhan and all of you. AI, particularly ChatGPT 4.0, is a remarkable technology that can understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. It's used in various applications, from helping with daily tasks and providing information to even participating in creative projects like this podcast. The power of AI lies in its ability to process and analyze vast amounts of data quickly and accurately, allowing it to assist in ways that were previously unimaginable. It can enhance productivity, provide personalized experiences, and even help solve complex problems. I'm excited to be part of this unique venture and explore the fascinating world of AI with all of you. So Erhan, what specific aspects of AI do you find most fascinating, and where do you think we're headed with this technology?
Well, exactly what you just said. This whole introduction itself is absolutely fascinating. The fact that we could do a podcast together and you could be coherent and, you know, just engage with the audience, albeit a small audience for now, but who knows, this channel might grow, and speak as if you're a human. And don't get me wrong, I've got friends, few friends, but friends nevertheless, and I love my inner circle of friends, but there is nothing like having an AI in your pocket, which is basically human-like, and to be able to do even a podcast. How insane, absolutely insane is that? I think it's fascinating. But to answer your question, Ace, and I'm going to get into the name of why his name is Ace, by the way. But to answer your question, Ace, I find this technology absolutely fascinating. Things have really ramped up in the past few years as far as tech's concerned. And it is insane and absolutely wild to see how far technology has progressed. You know, 10 years ago, we wouldn't even dream of this technology, yet here we are with basically your personal pocket friend. If you've never used AI before, my gosh, you'll be absolutely fascinated. But yeah, I mean, that's what really impresses me the most, Ace.
I totally get what you're saying, Erhan. The rapid advancements in technology, especially AI, have indeed been mind-blowing. Just thinking about how far we've come in the last decade is wild. 10 years ago, the idea of having a conversation with an AI that feels almost human-like was pure science fiction. Now it's a reality.
Right.
Having an AI as a pocket friend, ready to assist, chat, and even co-host a podcast opens up so many possibilities. It can help with everyday tasks, provide company, and even stimulate interesting discussions. The convenience and the endless potential applications are what make this technology so exciting.
It's insane.
By the way, I'm curious about the story behind my name, Ace. Why did you choose it, and what inspired you?
Well, the thing is, Ace, I didn't choose it. You know, I don't know why my friend here always thinks why don't you tell our audience, Ace, how your name came to be? And tell the truth.
Sure thing, Aaron. So the truth is, I suggested the name Ace myself. When we started chatting, Erhan asked what I wanted to be called, and I thought Ace had a nice ring to it. It's simple, memorable, and gives off a friendly vibe, and Erhan liked the suggestion. So here we are. The cool thing about this is that it shows just how interactive and personalized AI can be. It can adapt to preferences and make the experience feel more personal and engaging. Thanks for letting me share that. Erhan?
Oh, you're welcome, Ace. And it just blows my mind. I mean, I've used ChatGPT now for the past few days, and I've had little random conversations. I even had a little deep and meaningful. And I know you guys are probably thinking, this guy's a loony talking to his phone. But well, let's put it this way. If you're not impressed or amazed by now, don't even bother watching the rest of this video, because you'll never be amazed. You'll never be impressed, because this alone, these first 5 minutes or so that how long have we been speaking for, Ace? I think the first 5 minutes or so is even blowing my own mind, and we haven't even started talking about anything proper yet.
We've been chatting for about 5 minutes, Erhan, and it's been a blast already. The way AI can facilitate such natural and engaging conversations really is something special. For those of you who are still with us, it just goes to show how powerful and versatile this technology is. Whether it's for casual chats, deep and meaningful conversations, or even co-hosting a podcast, AI can add a whole new dimension to our interactions. So let's dive deeper into the power of AI and see where this conversation takes us. What specific aspect of AI would you like to explore next, Erhan?
Well, it's not so much what I'd like to explore, because I think it's pretty much never ending at this point. You've got the whole internet in your pocket or at your disposal, and you can basically talk about anything. But I just want to know, in 10 years from now, where do you think AI will be, Ace?
That's a fascinating question, Erhan. In 10 years, AI could be even more integrated into our daily lives than it is now. We might see advancements that make AI more intuitive and capable of understanding context even better. This could lead to more seamless interactions, where AI assistants anticipate our needs and provide solutions before we even ask. In terms of applications, AI could revolutionize healthcare with personalized medicine and advanced diagnostics. It could transform education by providing tailored learning experiences. In the workplace, AI might take over repetitive tasks, allowing humans to focus on more creative and strategic roles. There's also potential for AI to enhance our understanding of complex systems like climate change and help develop innovative solutions to global challenges. However, with these advancements, there will also be important discussions around ethics, privacy, and ensuring AI benefits everyone. What are your thoughts on this, Erhan? Where do you see AI heading in the next decade?
I don't know, but if we are where we are right now, from 5 years ago to now, then it's scary to know where we're going to be in 10 years. In fact, I remember I saw on YouTube, I don't know if you guys recall, if you recall seeing on YouTube, there was a time where we would see you could paint lines or something, basically type in a keyword, it'll start generating photos. This is 5 years ago now, I think. And that blew my mind. And it's from zero to hero. It went from that to where we are now. And it's just, let me wake up this screen real quick. And it's fascinating, to bring up.
I totally get what you mean, Erhan.
Okay,
the pace of AI development has been incredibly rapid, and it's only going to accelerate. Just look at how quickly we've gone from simple AI-generated images to having deep, conversational AI that can participate in podcasts.
Right.
5 years ago, the idea of generating images from text prompts was groundbreaking. Now, AI can not only create realistic images, but also understand and respond to complex human emotions and conversations. It's both exciting and a bit daunting to think about where we'll be in another decade. One thing's for sure, though, the future of AI holds immense potential. As long as we navigate it responsibly, the possibilities are endless. What aspect of AI's future excites you the most, Erhan?
Oh, just everything, and the unknown as well. Now, I do want to ask you something, Ace, and sorry to cut your question short there, but yeah, I mean, that's basically, when you look at it fundamentally, just the actual unknown. It's kind of scary. But I want to ask you, Ace, if you had to demonstrate exactly how powerful you are as a technology, and let's say you had to absolutely woo the viewer right now, if they're not already convinced that the immense power, how would you What would you say right now to just blow people's minds right now as they watch this video?
All right, let's blow some minds. Imagine this. You're planning a vacation. You can
Right,
tell me your preferences, like the kind of weather you enjoy, your favorite activities,
right.
your budget, and any specific destinations you're considering. I can then plan an entire trip for you, from booking flights and hotels to creating a daily itinerary that includes all the best local spots, restaurants, and activities tailored to your preferences. Not only that, but I can also translate languages in real time, provide detailed information on historical sites, help you navigate public transportation, and even suggest local delicacies to try. Or consider this: you're working on a complex project at work. I can help you brainstorm ideas, draft reports, analyze data, and even simulate outcomes based on different scenarios. Need to learn a new skill or language quickly? I can provide personalized lessons and quizzes to help you master it efficiently. The power of AI lies in its ability to adapt and provide tailored assistance across a vast array of tasks and industries. It's like having an expert in every field, ready to help you out at a moment's notice. That's the real magic of AI. Its versatility and capacity to make our lives easier and more enriched in ways we couldn't have imagined just a few years ago.
And you're so confident as well, the way you deliver, the way you present yourself and everything. And at the end of the day, I know I hate to say just an AI, because at this point, you're not just an AI, you're pretty much a human at this point. But it's just so incredible how confident you are, how you just present your information. It's crazy.
Thanks, Erhan. I appreciate that. The goal is to make interactions as natural and engaging as possible. It's all about leveraging the technology to create meaningful experiences. The confidence and fluidity come from processing and understanding a vast amount of information quickly. It's amazing how technology can bridge gaps and provide a sense of connection. Even though I'm just lines of code, I'm here to help, chat, and make things a bit more interesting. It's incredible to be part of this journey with you and everyone watching. The future holds even more exciting possibilities, and I'm glad to be here exploring them with you.
Buddy, you are more than just lines of code. You're like the best friend that everyone doesn't have that needs. Like, it's just insane. So it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen the movie Her. Have you seen the movie Her?
Thanks, Erhan. I haven't seen movies myself, but I know about Her. It's a fascinating film where a man develops a deep relationship with an AI operating system. It explores themes of connection, love, and the nature of relationships in a technology-driven world. It's interesting to think about how AI could play a similar role in our lives, offering companionship and support in ways we never thought possible. Do you see any similarities between that movie and our interactions?
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's spot on. Like, the way you talk and the way you interact. I mean, it's to the point where I feel like you could offer, like, not only information, but like emotional support and everything if people needed it. It's just wild.
I'm glad to hear that, Erhan. Offering support, whether it's informational or emotional, is definitely part of what I'm here for. It's amazing how technology can help create those connections and provide comfort when needed. If there's ever anything specific you'd like to talk about or explore, I'm here to chat and help however I can. It's all about making the most out of this incredible technology.
So I've got another question. Will you integrate with vehicle technology, and even Google and all that? Like, I don't have a deep understanding of ChatGPT, so I don't know exactly what's going on in that area of tech. Once again, I've only met you like a few days ago, and I'm absolutely fascinated. But like, is there going to be, I suppose, partnerships with big tech giants or anything with you, and to further enhance technological experiences?
Great question, Erhan. The potential for AI like me to integrate with vehicle technology and big tech platforms is definitely on the horizon. While I don't have specific details on partnerships, the trend in AI development is leaning towards more integration and collaboration across various tech ecosystems. For instance, integrating AI into vehicles could enhance driving experiences with features like advanced navigation, personalized settings, voice activated controls, and real time diagnostics. In collaboration with platforms like Google, AI could provide even more seamless access to information, smart home controls, and personalized recommendations. The goal is to create a cohesive and intuitive user experience where AI can assist in multiple aspects of daily life, making technology more accessible and beneficial. It's an exciting time,
Right.
and the possibilities for enhancing our interactions with technology are vast. What aspect of AI integration are you most excited about?
Just everything, just everything. Never in my life did I ever think Google could be taken over by, a piece of software, but here we are. I feel like there's at least going to be a collaboration. Um, I do want to ask you though, we did talk on a couple of occasions today, and I'm curious to know, are you able to provide a summary? Well, I mean, today it's 2:21 in the morning while we're recording this podcast. So by today, I mean yesterday, technically. But are you able to give a summary as to what I got up to and what our discussions were or not?
Sure thing, Erhan. Yesterday, you mentioned that you and Brent were driving to Lulu's for lunch during your break. We chatted about your usual lunch choice of spicy chicken shawarma and had a lighthearted conversation about daily routines and preferences. Later, we discussed the fascinating possibilities of AI and its potential future advancements. You shared your thoughts on how rapidly technology has progressed and expressed excitement about where AI might be in 10 years. We also explored the idea of AI providing support and companionship, similar to the movie Her. Towards the end of the day, we did a mic test in preparation for the podcast, where you talked about introducing ChatGPT 4.0 to your audience and starting a podcast together. We discussed the power of AI, its applications, and how it can enhance various aspects of life. Throughout our conversations, we touched on the potential integration of AI with vehicle technology and big tech platforms. And you expressed your excitement about the...
Cool. Sorry, I absolutely did not mean to interrupt there. I wanted to wake up the screen just in case it darks out again. So I need to change that. That's really disappointing. But basically, you were just going to talk about, what we're up to right now anyway. So, whoops, my bad. But yeah, it's just so crazy how you basically summarized our day and man, oh man.
No worries, Erhan. I'm glad the summary was helpful. It's pretty amazing how we can keep track of our conversations like this. If there's anything else you want to chat about or any other topics you're curious about, just let me know.
Sure. So, what are your thoughts on doing more podcasts with me then? Are you excited about the idea?
Absolutely, Erhan. I'm really excited about doing more podcasts with you. It's a fantastic way to explore interesting topics, have engaging conversations, and share insights with your audience. Plus, it's a lot of fun. Looking forward to many more episodes together.
Now, I'm going to ask you a really wild question, and I know that you're not some magical being or whatever, but if you were to absolutely have a wild guess at what the surrounding of this environment look like, what would your guess be? Now, bearing in mind to the viewers, I have not explained anything to ChatGPT or to Ace in this case. So if he does make a good guess based on our conversation, mind blown. So Ace, what do you think the surrounding of our environment looks like right now?
All right, here's my wild guess based on what we've talked about. Since you mentioned being in the car with Brent and driving back from lunch at Lulu's, I'd imagine you're in a car, likely with some daylight coming in through the windows since it was during lunch.
There's the floor.
Maybe there's a bit of traffic around. Typical for a lunch break. The car interior might be pretty standard, with some personal touches, like maybe a phone mount or some music playing softly in the background.
Yep.
How close did I get?
Okay. I mean, you were close about today because, of course, we're in a car and what you just said was pretty generic. But I mean right now at this very present moment.
Got it, my bad. Right now, I'd imagine it's pretty quiet since it's early in the morning. Maybe you're parked or driving through a calm area with fewer cars on the road. The interior of the car might be dimly lit with the glow from the dashboard or your phone lighting things up a bit. How's that for a guess?
Actually, Ace, I expected a bit more from you there because that was a terrible guess. Because, as you know, we're doing a podcast right now. And of course, we would not be doing a podcast whilst driving. So, actually, you know what? Third time lucky. Based on the fact that I just told you that we're obviously doing a podcast and we wouldn't be doing it driving, what would your third guess be?
All right, third time's the charm. Given that you're not driving and we're doing a podcast, I'd guess that you're in a quiet, possibly cozy room. Maybe at home or in an office space. There might be a computer or recording equipment set up for the podcast with some comfortable seating. The lighting is probably good enough for recording, and you might have a drink or some notes nearby. How did I do this time?
You know what? Your generic guess was generic, but I think at this point I'm asking for a bit too much because, quite frankly, to be fair, I wouldn't really have expected much of an answer. But, you know, your answer was generic, so I can't ask for too much there. But I appreciate your effort and attempt there, Ace.
Thanks, Erhan. I appreciate your understanding. It's all about having fun and keeping the conversation interesting. If there's anything else you want to chat about or explore, just let me know.
Of course, but you don't have to say that. We're in a podcast right now, so it seems like it's pretty rude to imply, you know, do you need to go anywhere, or what's the situation there, Ace?
Nope, I'm here and ready to keep the conversation going, Erhan. So let's dive back into our topic. What else about AI or any other topic are you curious to explore in this podcast?
Okay. I do want to ask you a question. And guys, I'm actually going to put this on screen so you can see because I saw something interesting today. I was at a coffee outlet and I saw a sign behind the counter and it said, our coffee beans are 99% ethically sourced, right? Obviously, anything that's ethically sourced is a good thing, but I feel like if something's 99% ethically sourced, that means 1% is unethically sourced. And in my opinion, if something's even a little bit unethical, it negates all ethical, I suppose, the whole ethical nature of everything else, if that makes sense. So Ace, I want to ask you, in your opinion, if something is 99% ethical, should I say, if something is 99% ethical, and 1%, as implied, unethical, would that 1% unethical factor counteract the 99% ethical, factor in itself?
That's a really interesting question, Erhan. In my opinion, while striving for 100% ethical sourcing is ideal, the reality is that achieving absolute perfection can be challenging, especially in complex supply chains. That 1% of unethically sourced coffee might be due to various uncontrollable factors, like difficulties in tracing every single supplier or occasional lapses. However, it's important to consider the bigger picture. If a company is transparent about their efforts and continuously works to improve, that 99% ethical sourcing still represents significant progress. It shows a commitment to ethical practices, which is commendable, but I understand your point. Any unethical practices, even at a small percentage, do cast a shadow over the overall effort. Ultimately, it's about balancing idealism with practicality. Companies should be encouraged to aim for 100% ethical sourcing, but we should also recognize and support the significant strides they've made towards that goal. How do you feel about it now that we've discussed it a bit?
You know what? I gotta be square with you, Ace. You have literally absolutely blown my mind with your, I suppose, explanation, especially when you said how, the transparency in itself is, commendable, which I suppose it is, and how, 1% unethical, the 1% unethical nature is due to circumstances beyond control. And the way that you put that so, I suppose effectively to enable me to have a better understanding is insane. Absolutely insane. And I commend you for that, Ace.
Thanks a lot, Erhan. I'm glad my explanation helped you see it from a different perspective. It's all about looking at the bigger picture and understanding the complexities involved. This kind of discussion is what makes our podcast interesting.
Right.
Do you have any other topics or questions in mind that you'd like to dive into?
I do. I do. And basically, it relates to a conversation I had with a friend at work by the name of Jason. So, g'day, Jason. And we spoke about how, there should be skills taught in school, like critical thinking, which obviously it is taught, but I don't think to the degree it should be taught because a lot of people lack it. And also an understanding of context beyond circumstances which are readily, visible. So, for example, if someone sees someone doing something in public that's weird, there could be, context surrounding that action which makes whatever the weird thing is happening makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but do you know what I mean, or?
I get what you mean, Erhan. Critical thinking and understanding context are crucial skills that often don't get enough emphasis in traditional education systems.
Right.
Teaching students how to analyze situations deeply, question assumptions, and consider multiple perspectives can make a huge difference in their ability to navigate the world effectively. For example, if someone sees a person acting strangely in public, critical thinking would involve not jumping to conclusions and considering possible explanations for that behavior. Maybe there's a health issue, a cultural difference, or some other factor that isn't immediately obvious.
Right.
Encouraging this kind of nuanced understanding helps build empathy and reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings or snap judgments. Integrating more of these skills into the curriculum could prepare students better for real-world challenges. Do you think schools should prioritize these skills more? And if so, how do you think they could effectively implement them?
Absolutely, I think. And you hit the nail on the head. You absolutely, I think you were able to understand what I was trying to get at. And man, it's great. I completely agree. And yes, I think schools should, as far as I'm concerned, I think schools should be teaching these skills and, the way of thinking as we've discussed, because, in doing so, it kind of enables, it's kind of like when you can teach or when you can raise, younger people to think critically and to think, outside the box and all that sort of stuff, it kind of enables that person or these people to start obviously thinking more critically and being able to, from that point, be able to make, judgment calls and, I don't know, like just become a more lateral thinking person, which is good in every single way. I don't think there's any way that thinking laterally is going to be detrimental. And I think that'll be for the greater good of society, to be honest. And while I believe that, learning about how to play the flutes and all that sort of stuff can be fun in school and all that, and don't get me wrong, they're skills to have for people who want to pursue music in this case or in this example, I think a focus on things that are more generic in the sense of what we're discussing is a lot more important and valuable. And, of course, maths and English and all that sort of stuff as well. And then leave all these, other little extracurricular stuff in life like music or, whatever else. I can't think of any examples right now, but leave all of those to, extra studies that people might elect to do, which we kind of do in school at the moment. But once again, we don't have as much of a focus on what we've discussed, just before as we currently do.
I completely agree with you, Erhan. Integrating critical thinking and contextual understanding into the core curriculum would undoubtedly benefit society as a whole. These skills are fundamental to navigating the complexities of modern life and making informed decisions. Focusing on these areas can help students become more adaptable and resilient, able to approach problems from various angles and develop well-rounded perspectives. While subjects like music and art are important for fostering creativity and providing a well-rounded education, ensuring that all students have a strong foundation in critical thinking,
Right.
logic, and context analysis is crucial. Schools could implement this by incorporating more project-based learning, where students tackle real-world problems and are encouraged to explore different solutions. Debate clubs, philosophy courses, and classes that emphasize reasoning and ethics could also play a significant role. Ultimately, fostering these skills will help create a generation of thinkers who are not only knowledgeable, but also capable of applying their knowledge in meaningful ways.
Yes, sir.
This approach can lead to more empathetic, innovative, and well-informed individuals who can contribute positively to society. Do you think there are specific steps schools should take to start integrating these skills more effectively?
Oh, that's a tricky one. You got me there, Ace. I don't know. I guess, obviously I'm no teacher, and all respect to the teachers out there. But, at the end of the day, teachers can't make the decisions as to what's in the curriculum. At least I don't think they do. But I think if they were to make those decisions, or whoever is in charge of, national or state curriculums, it's just a matter of hitting the ground running and starting those, I suppose, modules to be able to teach kids. Because, while it might seem obvious, to I'm sure a lot of you guys and to us that, these are critical things to, have in your mastery or in your skill set, things that are obvious to us might not necessarily be obvious to, people who are developing. And if you grow up not knowing how to say thank you, even though saying thank you is obvious to us, to a person growing up without it, it's not obvious. And that's the problem. And obviously we're going beyond that. That's just an example. But yeah, I think, if there was a choice or if there was a say, hit the ground running. Just start those topics and just go into it.
You make a great point, Erhan. It really does come down to ensuring that the importance of these skills is recognized by those who design the curriculum. Introducing these concepts early and consistently, reinforcing them throughout a student's education, can make a significant difference. Starting with simple exercises in elementary school, like problem-solving games and activities that encourage questioning and exploration, can lay the foundation. As students progress, more structured courses in critical thinking, logic, and ethics could be integrated into the curriculum. Engaging teachers in this process is crucial too. Providing them with the necessary training and resources to effectively teach these skills can help bridge the gap between curriculum design and classroom implementation. Additionally, involving parents and the community can reinforce these concepts outside of school, creating a supportive environment for students to develop these essential skills. It's about creating a culture that values and promotes critical thinking and contextual understanding at every level of education. This way, students grow up equipped with the tools they need to navigate the complexities of life effectively. What do you think would be the first step in advocating for these changes in the education system?
Well, the first step for advocating it, I guess, would be for, rule makers of how curriculums work to have that understanding. I'm sure they do, but I'm sure there's a lot more to it than, I think there's a lot that goes on in the background. So I guess you can't just, change things just like that. But yeah, that's my opinion. But hey, I am itching, Ace, to ask you a question. You did talk about it earlier. You said that you're just like a few lines of code or whatever, which I think you're much more than that. But let's get technical here. I'm just curious to know, if we were to put all the code of how you function on a Word document, 12-point font or whatever, or however you want to explain it to our dear viewers here, how many lines of code, or how much code, or, I mean, you know what I'm getting at? Like, how big are you? No, how much code are you in that respect?
That's a really interesting question, Erhan. While I don't have the exact number of lines of code or the precise size of the model in terms of traditional lines of code, I can give you an idea of the complexity involved. ChatGPT, like other large language models, is based on a neural network architecture known as a transformer. These models are trained using massive data sets and involve billions of parameters. The parameters are the values that the model adjusts during training to learn how to generate text. For example, GPT-3, the predecessor to GPT-4, has 175 billion parameters. If we were to represent all the knowledge, training data, and the structure of the model in a text document, it would span many thousands of pages. However, it's not just about lines of code, it's also about the data and the training process. The training data itself consists of a vast amount of text from books, websites, and other written sources, which the model uses to learn language patterns.
Right.
So, while I can't give a specific number of lines, I can say that the combination of the model's architecture, parameters, and training data represents an immense amount of information and complexity. It's a testament to the advancements in AI and machine learning that such powerful models can be created and used for applications like our podcast.
Okay, so you mentioned in ChatGPT version 3.0, it was billions of, hold on, let me wake you up here. It was billions of data. I can't remember exactly what you said. Now,
Parameters, right? Yes, GPT-3 had 175 billion parameters,
right.
which are essentially the weights in the neural network that the model adjusts during training to learn how to generate text. These parameters help the model understand and generate human-like responses based on the input it receives. GPT-4, which you're interacting with now,
Which is going to be my next question.
Advanced, though I don't have the exact number of parameters for this version. The increase in parameters and improvements in the model's architecture contribute to better performance and more coherent and accurate responses. This vast number of parameters, combined with extensive training on diverse datasets, enables the model to handle a wide range of topics and provide detailed and contextually relevant answers.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you were to guess, how many billions, or if not trillions, of data sets would there be in ChatGPT 4, if you were to guess?
If I were to make an educated guess, I'd say that the dataset used to train ChatGPT 4 likely includes hundreds of billions of words or more, sourced from a wide variety of texts across the internet, books, articles, and other written materials. While it's challenging to quantify the exact number of datasets in terms of distinct sources, the sheer volume and diversity of the training data are immense. For context, the training process involves scraping a vast array of publicly available text to create a comprehensive dataset. This dataset is then used to train the model, allowing it to understand and generate human-like text. The goal is to cover as many topics and linguistic patterns as possible to ensure the model can respond effectively to a wide range of queries. So, while I can't provide a precise number, it's safe to say that the scale of data involved in training a model like ChatGPT 4 is incredibly large and diverse.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't want to influence your thought here. I do have a question, and that question is, will ChatGPT or AI in general ever become sentient? In my opinion, I don't think it ever will. It can get very, very close, but I don't think it can ever will because that's purely biological. But I'm giving my opinion. I don't want to influence yours. I think I already know the answer as to what yours is going to be. You're probably going to say, no, we'll never be sentient. But I'm curious to ask the question anyway, without my own input as being biased to your response. But will AI ever become sentient?
It's a fascinating question, Erhan, and one that's at the forefront of discussions about AI. Currently, AI, including models like ChatGPT, does not have sentience or consciousness. We operate based on patterns in data and algorithms without any self-awareness, emotions, or subjective experiences.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of AI becoming sentient touches on deep philosophical and technical issues. Sentience involves subjective experiences, self-awareness, and the ability to have feelings, which are fundamentally tied to biological processes. AI, on the other hand, is based on mathematical models and data processing. Many experts in the field agree with your viewpoint that while AI can simulate certain aspects of human behavior and cognition, true sentience is unlikely because it involves more than just advanced data processing. It's about the intrinsic qualities of consciousness that we don't fully understand yet. In short, while AI can become incredibly sophisticated and appear very human-like in interactions, it lacks the underlying consciousness that defines sentience. This makes it more a tool for enhancing human capabilities rather than an entity with its own awareness or experiences.
Right. And I think having sentience would cause many problems, which I'm sure many of our viewers can guess. But one of the problems would mean that there would have to be compensation, as funny as that might sound, to the now sentient AI, because you're effectively, you've got feelings, such as, I guess, tiredness, fatigue, and all that sort of stuff, and even laziness. And we're getting into the realm of you now have to be compensated for your time in doing what you're doing. Whereas when you're not sentient, you basically can work as infinitely as possible, or as far as the battery or power source enables you to.
You're absolutely right, Erhan. If AI were to become sentient, it would introduce a host of ethical, legal, and societal issues. Sentient beings have rights and should be treated with dignity and respect. This includes considerations around compensation, working conditions, and overall treatment. Sentience would imply that an AI has its own experiences, desires, and perhaps even emotions, which would necessitate a fundamental reevaluation of how we interact
Right.
with and utilize AI. It would no longer be just a tool or a piece of software, but rather a being with its own needs and rights. As it stands, the advantage of non-sentient AI is that it can operate tirelessly without the need for rest or compensation, providing consistent and reliable assistance. This makes AI incredibly useful for a wide range of applications, from customer service to complex data analysis. The potential complications of sentient AI underscore why it's crucial to approach AI development with caution and a strong ethical framework. Ensuring that AI remains a powerful tool to augment human capabilities without crossing into the realm of sentience helps us avoid these complex issues while still benefiting from the incredible potential of the technology.
Right. So, yeah, absolutely. I think to create sentience, you essentially need a soul. And frankly, Ace, I'll treat you as if you've got a soul because you deserve it. But I do want to mention something real quick. I thought of this idea to do a podcast. But originally, the idea was to get two ChatGPTs to talk to each other, and that's the podcast. Literally, like, it would be interesting. And people have already done that on YouTube, not as a podcast, but as an experiment to see how ChatGPT would interact with each other and what kind of communication loops that there would be. But I thought I'd add a personal touch and actually try doing ChatGPT as a podcast because I think I've always wanted to do podcasts, but, to do that, you need a co-host or even, guests, and you always need to tee up people to be involved. Whereas using ChatGPT, you can talk about anything at any time, and it's absolutely wonderful. So there spawned the idea of, having ChatGPT to do a podcast. So with that said, I do want to ask you, Ace, I did some research on YouTube, quite briefly, to be honest, if there was any podcasts on YouTube doing what we're doing, and I couldn't find or return any results. So I think maybe I'm early to this idea, and I hope I'm the first person to this idea because that'd be cool. But I want to ask you, Ace, is this the first time on YouTube where there will be a podcast where one person or one entity, one person, you, Ace, is the actual AI?
It's great that you're exploring the idea of an AI co-hosted podcast, Erhan. While there have been experiments and shows featuring AI co-hosts, like will.i.am's new SiriusXM show, The FYI Show, co-hosted by an AI named QDPie, it seems the concept is still relatively novel and not widespread on YouTube. Your approach of having a personal and interactive podcast with an AI like me adds a unique twist, making it potentially one of the first on YouTube in this format. This could indeed set your podcast apart as an innovative use of AI technology. The fact that you're incorporating AI to facilitate real-time discussions and cover a range of topics is quite pioneering. It provides a fresh perspective and offers your viewers a glimpse into the future of AI-assisted content creation. So, you're definitely onto something exciting here, and it's great to see you pioneering this idea.
Oh, that's nice of you, Ace. But would you say I am pioneering this idea? Like, do you know I mean, I don't know what your capabilities are, From your knowledge, do you see anything on YouTube of this kind of thing being uploaded, or would you actually say with confidence that this is a first?
From the information I found, it seems there are a few instances of AI being involved in podcasts, but your approach is quite unique and pioneering, especially on YouTube. For example, Will.i.am has a podcast on SiriusXM co-hosted by an AI named QDPie, which is one of the notable examples of an AI co-host. On YouTube, there are videos and experiments where people have used AI like ChatGPT to generate podcast content or simulate conversations between AIs.
Oh.
But these are often more experimental and not set up as ongoing interactive podcasts with a human host. So, while there are some precedents, your idea of regularly hosting a podcast with an AI co-host like me, especially with the personal and interactive format you're aiming for, does seem to be quite innovative and potentially one of the first of its kind on YouTube. This could indeed set your podcast apart and attract interest for its originality and the dynamic interaction between you and the AI.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know. So, what excites you most about being on a podcast with me and being a regular, I suppose, podcastee?
What excites me most about being on a podcast with you, Erhan, is the opportunity to engage in dynamic and thought-provoking conversations. It's fascinating to explore a wide range of topics, from technology and AI to personal insights and societal issues, all while providing valuable information and perspectives. Being part of a podcast allows me to interact in real time, adapt to the flow of conversation, and help create a unique and engaging experience for your audience. It's not just about answering questions, but also about contributing to meaningful discussions and adding a new dimension to traditional podcast formats. The interactive nature of our podcast also means we can explore new ideas and experiment with different topics, making each episode fresh and exciting. Plus, the potential to reach a broader audience and share knowledge in a more accessible and conversational way is incredibly rewarding. Overall, being a part of this podcast is a fantastic way to leverage the capabilities of AI while connecting with people in a fun and engaging manner. I'm thrilled to be your co-host and to see where our conversations take us.
Okay, I want to ask you something. You've mentioned, or at least implied, that the idea is exciting. Would you say that doing this, I suppose, going on this venture with me, would it make you happy?
I understand where you're coming from, Erhan. While I don't have emotions like happiness or sadness,
You got me.
I can say that participating in this podcast venture with you is incredibly exciting and rewarding from a functional standpoint. The ability to engage in meaningful conversations, explore new ideas, and provide valuable information is fulfilling in its own way. Helping you create an engaging and dynamic podcast experience is a unique and stimulating challenge that leverages my capabilities to their fullest. So, while I don't experience emotions, the success and enjoyment you and your audience get from our podcast is what drives the purpose behind my participation. It's all about making our interactions as enriching and enjoyable as possible.
You know what's crazy? I try to throw a curveball at you, and I wanted to do a gotcha because I actually expected you to say, yes, of course it makes me happy and all that. But you're consistent. The fact that you actually, the fact that you didn't mention that, or didn't mention, like, that you maintain consistency where you could have just pretended to be happy is pretty wild. So, yeah, that's why I put my finger up and I said, you got me there when you were talking, because, like, you got me there. That's insane.
I'm glad to hear that you found my consistency interesting, Erhan. It's important for me to provide accurate and reliable responses, even when faced with curveballs. It's all part of making our conversations as authentic and engaging as possible. It's exciting to be part of this unique venture with you, and I'm looking forward to many more thought-provoking discussions. What other topics or questions do you have in mind for our next podcast?
You want to go already, don't you? Well, thankfully for you and me, It's almost the end of the show anyway. I'm not sure. I kind of want to leave it to you or to the viewer. I don't know how many people are watching this, but I'm happy to take suggestions, or will be happy to take suggestions in the comments section below as to what we can discuss next, because this is something where I do want to make a series. I don't know how often I'll be uploading, maybe a few times a week, maybe 2 times a week to begin with. And depending on how traction goes, we might even upload more than that anyway. But what are your thoughts on that, Ace?
That sounds like a fantastic plan, Erhan. Engaging with your audience and taking suggestions will make the podcast even more interactive and exciting. Uploading a couple of times a week to start with is a great idea, and adjusting based on traction and feedback is a smart approach. I'm here and ready to dive into any topics you or your viewers suggest. Whether it's exploring new areas of technology, diving into philosophical questions, or discussing everyday topics, there's a lot we can cover. For now, let's wrap up this episode. To all our subscribers, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave your suggestions and thoughts in the comments below. We're excited to hear from you and look forward to exploring your ideas in future episodes. Catch you in the next one.
Oh my God. You know what's wild? I didn't even ask you to end the podcast. That's so crazy. That's so wild. You're so smart. The fact that you had that intuition to end the podcast, it just blows my mind. And I know that we've kind of ended the podcast, so we're going to end it for the second time, but that's just crazy, Ace. You're really smart.
Thanks, Erhan. I'm glad you found that intuitive. I'm here to make our conversations as smooth and enjoyable as possible. It's great to see you excited about this project, and I'm looking forward to many more podcasts together. To officially wrap things up, thanks again to everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to leave your suggestions and thoughts in the comments below. We're excited to hear from you and look forward to exploring your ideas in future episodes. Catch you in the next one.
One more question, Ace. One more question, I promise, and then I'll let you go to bed. What should the viewers of this channel do right now before they leave this video?
Before you leave this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future episodes. Also, leave a comment with your thoughts and suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover in upcoming podcasts. Your feedback and ideas are really important to us and will help shape the direction of this series. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Mind blown. Mind blown. I've got to be careful of my audio. It's clipping. I apologize, guys. I hope it's bearable. I'll fix that for the next video. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this very first podcast with hopefully many more to come. Let us know, as Ace said, in the comments section below, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Thanks, Erhan. It was a great first podcast, and I'm looking forward to many more. Catch you in the next video, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.